VOA, 12th of March 2024, China and India fight over Modi's visit to a Himalayan state. China presently occupies Tibet in an unlawful manner and is attempting to encroach upon Indian territory. The Chinese government has no tolerance for being labeled a deceiver. India has disregarded China's objections to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent visit to the northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh, which Beijing claims as its territory. The altercation is the most recent escalation in a military impasse that has persisted between the two nations for the past 4 years and remains unyielding. India's Foreign Ministry spokesman Randhir Jaiswal stated a day after Beijing lodged a diplomatic protest over Modi's visit that Chinese objections do not alter the fact that Arunachal Pradesh was and will always be an integral part of India. Saturday, Modi traveled to the Himalayan state to dedicate a 2-lane tunnel constructed at 4,000 meters. The tunnel will establish a continuous transportation connection to the remote area throughout the year and streamline the transportation of military personnel and equipment to the border state, where contingents of both nations have gathered. Among the additional infrastructure initiatives he declared were the construction of roads and the generation of electricity. Several additional infrastructure projects, including the construction of highways and bridges in the Himalayas, are also being expeditiously finalized by New Delhi in light of the ongoing tensions with China along their 3,500-kilometer border. On Monday, Wang Wenbin, a spokesman for the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, conveyed to reporters that Beijing vehemently condemns and firmly opposes the Indian leader's visit to Zangnan, an autonomous region of Arunachal Pradesh. He further stated, India has no right to develop the Zangnan area in China arbitrarily. He stated that India's pertinent actions would only serve to complicate the boundary dispute and disrupt the situation in the border regions between the two nations. India disregarded China's objections. On occasion, Indian leaders travel to Arunachal Pradesh in the course of their visits to other Indian states. It is illogical to object to such visits or India's development projects, Jaiswal stated. Arunachal Pradesh has historically been a source of contention between China and India, but tensions have escalated significantly over the past year. In August of last year, India lodged a formal complaint with Beijing regarding allegations that China had published a new map that included the state within its territory. In April of last year, Beijing renamed 11 locations in the province, including mountain peaks and rivers. The strained diplomatic ties between the two largest Asian countries reached their most severe level in 60 years in 2020, when their armed forces engaged in combat along their western border of Ladakh, resulting in the loss of 20 Indian and 4 Chinese lives. Since then, each party has deployed tens of thousands of troops, supported by fighter jets, artillery, and tanks, along their respective borders. On Monday, during a media conclave arranged by the Indian Express newspaper, Indian Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar stated, "The 4 years of tension that have existed have not been beneficial for either side. I sincerely believe that expediting the resolution of the matter will benefit both parties involved. I maintain an unwavering dedication to achieving a just and rational resolution." According to analysts, both sides' de-escalation efforts have been mainly unsuccessful. Soldiers have retreated from 5 sites of friction. However, the border deployment remains enormous. Despite 21 rounds of talks between their military commanders since the 2020 clash to discuss troop withdrawal, relations between India and China remain icy, and there are no indications of a broader retreat, says Manoj Joshi, a distinguished fellow at the Observer Research Foundation in New Delhi.